Hi, I'm Barry Sahajian. This is Slap Bass Day 8 of 100. On this video, we have 4 examples. They all have sort of a little different approach and a little different style for each, so you can get acquainted in a gradual way. So, on my Patreon page, I have a drum track that goes along with this, and the drums are played sort of like a drummer would play creatively to fill in your bass line, and it makes it a lot more fun to play. So I invite you to go over there, download them at the same time. So let's get started with the first example. Listen to it, then I'll explain, break it down, and give you some tips, and move on to the second, third, and fourth. This line is very simple, as you can see, but the challenge is to hit that 16th note before the downbeat and boost it. And to get that feel takes a little time, and that's what you must concentrate on this line. And also, it's a common thing that a drummer will do with his bass drum. Ba-boom, ba-boom. And not only in funk and slap, this kind of approach happens in jazz and rock. It kind of just makes that downbeat stronger. And that's what you want to work on and think about with this. And one more perspective you might want to think about is that this is the way you can develop a solo idea. Play that simple groove with a hard, grinding downbeat, and you fill inside of it and then evolve into a decent solo. On this example, we have a fat back. I've done a variation of this 1 or 2 times before in the first several videos, but it's worth looking at again and repeating. So the first beat goes, and then you have a pop on the second beat, which would be the back beat. Now, after that, we have the back and forth dead note, which kind of really defines the fat back beat. You may want to practice something like that to, go over that part that probably is the more difficult part of the line. And then you have a second measure with a slight variation on the end with a hammer pop. What's a little different about this lick is, while all the other examples we got our syncopated pops and slaps by just going back and forth, it's not possible on this lick. You have to use a rest. So in other words, you can have silence and your right hand is going to stop until the silence completes, and then you'll either pop or slap, which, introduces a new challenge. But that's what it's all about. We learn this step at a time. So let me show you the lick, and before I do, I'd like to point out I divided the measure by putting little boxes so we can learn it an increment at a time. And you'll see that right above. So let's take the first box, box 1. You might need to count this lick because of those rests. On the third beat, you have a rest. You don't hit a slap, which would have happened on the back and forth motion, which would have happened on slap and pop. So it's going to be like this: 3, E, and a 4. So it's 3, E, and a 4. So 3 is silence, rest. E is a pop. N is a rest, silence. 3, E, and a 4. N. 3, E, and a 4. N. You hear those rests in there? 3, E, and a 4. N. That's something you might need to work on. And it sounds nice too. Rests can make things funky as well as notes in dead notes. On the second measure, there's a variation on beat 4. So on the first measure, it goes up to the minor third. On the second measure, it goes down to the fifth. The third and fourth measures, I do something. I change the last measure entirely, and I put a little lick in there, and that would be a place where you can experiment with filling it up. 2 beats only. There, I just put my own lick in there. You can try that. That would be a great spot to try to improvise a little and fill in that last beat somehow and keep the meter. This is something we haven't discussed yet, and that's triplets. This is a little bit different, and it's beautiful. Triplets are great, and it is often mixed in with 8th notes and 16th notes in slap lines and creates a great feel. Sometimes a line will be completely triplets. In this case, for this example, that's what we have, all triplets, a 2-measure line with triplets. Now what I'm going to do here is I am going to break it up into 3 parts so you can practice each part separately. Each one is 2 beats apiece, and you can see that right above. So the first 2 beats would be like this. So you would have a slap on the G and then a pop on the G octave, and then 2 dead notes and another pop. So that'll be the first thing to practice, and then we move on to the next 2 beats, and that would be a slapped G, and then you hit an A, and then you hit the hammer pop, and then a dead note. Okay, next 2 beats, we have the part 1 repeated. Now the last one, we move up and we play the 4th degree and the 5th degree like this. Slap, pop, dead on the C, and then slap on the D, pop on the D octave, and dead again. There you have it. So anyway, if you like this video, please subscribe, hit the bell to be notified of all the new videos yet to come, like and comment. I invite you to go to my Patreon page and download the full sheet of this and play-alongs in 2 different tempos. Until next time, and thank you for stopping by.